On this Sunday, March the 8th, 2026, we are in the eye of the storm, figuratively speaking, after 5 consecutive days of severe weather that produced a devastating tornado outbreak, including a violent tornado in Michigan. Today and tomorrow offer a brief reprieve, but the atmosphere is reloading. Tuesday through Thursday brings a second severe weather sequence that the SPC is already flagging with slight risks for multiple days. Behind that, a third potential severe event develops around March 15th. And then the pattern does something remarkable. Both the Euro and GFS are pointing toward a significant Arctic blast arriving around March 16th through 19th that could bring snowfall back to locations that have been experiencing 80-degree spring heat. One model even shows a potential snowstorm reaching surprisingly far south. If you are enjoying the beautiful weather outside right now, soak it in. It may not last. Let me break down the full picture. First, a recap of this historic week. The multi-day severe weather outbreak that began Wednesday, March 4th and ran through yesterday delivered exactly what forecasters warned about. The most dramatic moment came Friday when a violent tornado struck near Union City, Michigan, destroying houses and moving across an icy lake. It was reportedly the earliest tornado of that magnitude ever recorded in Michigan for the calendar year. Several additional tornadoes were confirmed across Oklahoma and Michigan. Baseball-sized hail battered parts of Texas. Damaging winds swept from the southern plains through the Ohio Valley. The I-35 corridor from Dallas to Kansas City was hammered repeatedly. Friday's enhanced risk verified with supercells producing hail larger than 3 inches and tornadoes across Oklahoma and Kansas as the low-level jet intensified overnight. Yesterday, the threat extended to 90 million people with a 5% hatched tornado risk in the Ohio Valley, including Columbus and Pittsburgh. By the way, if you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now, let's move on. Today, the pattern is finally taking a breath. A marginal risk remains across the Carolinas and southeastern Virginia, with the potential for isolated severe weather. Pop-up storms are possible in Alabama and Georgia, but nothing approaching what we have seen this week. Tomorrow, Monday, March 9th, is expected to be the quietest day. Some thunderstorms across the Gulf states and southeast, but the severe threat drops to near zero for most of the country. But this break is short-lived. The atmosphere immediately reloads for a second major severe weather sequence starting Tuesday, March 10th. A new low-pressure system develops across Colorado and Iowa, pulling warm, humid Gulf air northward while Arctic air builds behind it. The SPC already has a 15% severe probability, which translates to a slight risk, issued for Tuesday covering Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana. That is a massive area. Both Mitch and Ryan have noted this could easily be upgraded to an enhanced risk as the event gets closer. Tuesday's severe weather is expected to develop during the afternoon from Waco and Abilene through Oklahoma City all the way to St. Louis. Storms could push near Chicago Tuesday night and even into southern Wisconsin. This is going to be an all-hazards event with damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes all on the table. The threat escalates overnight Tuesday into Wednesday as an intense, defined line of thunderstorms forms with Arctic air behind it and warm, humid air ahead. This overnight timing makes it especially dangerous. The low intensifies near the Great Lakes, and by Wednesday, an equally impressive line of storms rolls through Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio. The SPC already has at least a slight risk for Wednesday, stretching from Texas and Louisiana through Arkansas into the Deep South and Ohio Valley, including Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and even southwestern New York. This could also be upgraded to enhanced or higher. Midwest and Great Lakes snowfall occurs behind the Wednesday system as the Arctic air funnels in. This is an intense winter storm on the cold side of the same system producing severe weather on the warm side. Thursday, March 12th depends on timing. If the cold front crosses the eastern seaboard during the morning, the severe threat is limited because daytime heating has not peaked. If it lags into the afternoon, the southeast faces a more elevated severe weather risk. Either way, colder air arrives behind the front. After the front passes, temperatures finally dip, but the cool down is brief. Warmth rebounds quickly into Friday and Saturday. Snow falls across the Great Lakes and northeast on the backside of the system. The Northwest continues to see heavy mountain snow. But here is where it gets really interesting. Around Sunday, March 15th, a low-pressure system develops over Indiana. Snowfall to the north and thunderstorms to the south set up another concerning cold front. This could bring a mid-level severe weather risk to the deep south, Tennessee, Kentucky, and the Ohio Valley. Warm, humid air racing up the eastern seaboard collides with potent Arctic air swinging in behind. When you get that combination, the result is a volatile line of storms sandwiched between extremes. Then, around March 16th through 18th, the Arctic blast arrives in earnest. Both the Euro and GFS have been showing unusual agreement on this for over a week. Temperatures that have been running 20 to 40 degrees above normal across the eastern United States would plummet. The European model shows a significant trough in the east, with cold air reaching surprisingly far south. On one model frame, it is cold enough at 8 a.m. for snowfall in eastern North Carolina in mid-March. That is an extreme scenario, and confidence is not high, but the signal has been consistent and persistent. A potential snowstorm develops somewhere across the Midwest, Great Lakes, and possibly the Northeast around this time frame. The GFS model even shows feet of snowfall across the north-central states over the next 2 weeks in an extreme scenario. Whether this fully verifies remains to be seen, but the pattern flip from a ridge in the east to a trough in the east is supported by both major models. The cold appears to last from roughly March 16th through the 19th before the pattern rebounds into warm weather again by the 20th. If you are hoping for a spring-like spring, this cold snap may be short-lived, but if it verifies at anything close to what the models are showing, it would be a jarring return of winter after a week of 70 and 80-degree temperatures. Now the special predictions by region. For the Northeast, today is quiet. Enjoy the warmth. Temperatures remain well above normal through early next week. The second severe sequence pushes storms into the Ohio Valley by Wednesday, with the SPC risk zone extending into Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and southwestern New York. Snow on the backside of the Wednesday system across the Great Lakes and Northeast. The possible March 15th winter storm could bring snow to the region. The Arctic blast around March 16th through 18th, if it verifies, could bring the biggest late-season cold shot in years. For Boston and New York City, temperatures have been incredible for early March, but the models are hinting at a dramatic reversal. For Albany and upstate New York, the GFS shows substantial snowfall potential in the extended period. For the Mid-Atlantic, temperatures 20 to 40 degrees above normal today and through early next week. Wednesday's severe line could push thunderstorms into West Virginia and Pennsylvania. The European model has teased cold air reaching far enough south for snowfall in the Mid-Atlantic around March 17th. For D.C. and Philadelphia, enjoy the spring weather because winter may make one last appearance. For the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes, the second severe sequence targets this region Tuesday night into Wednesday. The SPC slight risk for Wednesday includes Ohio, Indiana, and western Pennsylvania, an overnight line of severe storms. Tuesday into Wednesday is the biggest concern, with the low intensifying near the Great Lakes. Midwest and Great Lakes, snow follows behind the front. The March 15th low over Indiana brings another round with snow to the north and severe weather to the south. The Arctic blast could deliver significant late-season snow across the Midwest and Great Lakes. The GFS shows an extreme snowfall scenario for the north-central states. For Columbus, the tornado risk verified yesterday, and more severe weather arrives Wednesday. For Chicago, storms push through Tuesday night with possible snow later in the week. For Indianapolis, right in the path of the Wednesday severe line. For the Deep South and Southeast, today's marginal risk covers the Carolinas and southeastern Virginia. The second severe event Wednesday targets Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, and into the Ohio Valley. Thursday depends on cold front timing, but the southeast could see a significant severe threat if the front lags. The March 15th setup brings another severe risk to the Deep South and Tennessee Valley. The drought across Florida and Georgia persists as moisture remains focused on the Central Corridor. For Nashville and Memphis, severe weather returns Wednesday and potentially again around March 15th. For the Carolinas, the European model's mid-March cold scenario is worth monitoring. For the Southern Plains, the brief break continues today and tomorrow, but Tuesday reloads with the SPC slight risk covering Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas. Dallas-Fort Worth has been under severe risk for 4 consecutive days this past week and faces another round Tuesday. Oklahoma City and Tulsa also return to the risk zone. The pattern of repeated severe weather across the I-35 corridor shows no signs of ending. Waco, Abilene, and the Red River corridor watch Tuesday's development. For the Midwest, Monday is quiet. Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday brings the next severe round from Missouri through Illinois and Indiana. The overnight threat Tuesday into Wednesday is especially dangerous. Snow follows on the backside of the system. The flooding corridor continues to build with repeated heavy rainfall over the same areas. Soil moisture is extremely high. By mid-March, the possible Arctic blast could bring a significant snow event to the north-central states. For the West, mountain snow continues across the Rockies and Cascades. Colorado and the Four Corners are finally getting beneficial snowfall. The Northwest sees heavy snow through the period. As the trough shifts east by mid-March, the West warms with a ridge developing, which actually helps push the Arctic air further into the east. For Canada, the Arctic air building across the Canadian prairies is the source for both the post-cold front cooling this week and the larger Arctic blast mid-month. An intense low near Toronto is modeled for Wednesday as the second severe sequence peaks. Southeast Canada, including Ontario and Quebec, faces icy conditions and snowfall. The bottom line on this Sunday: today and tomorrow offer a rare and brief break from severe weather. Soak in the warmth and the quiet. Tuesday through Thursday brings a second severe weather sequence, with the SPC already flagging slight risks and potential for upgrades. A third event develops around March 15th, and the European and GFS models both point toward a significant Arctic blast around March 16th through 19th that could deliver a last-gasp snowstorm to places that have been enjoying spring. The weather over the next 2 weeks is going to be a roller coaster of extremes: severe weather, flash flooding, then a possible blitz of winter. Stay prepared.